I'm at the climbing gym with McKenna, who just sent one of her V5 projects. And that kind of begs the question, how do you get past the V4 range? I know a lot of climbers that are climbing V3s and some V4s, but are just really having a big problem with V5s, and maybe they can do a few moves, but what are some ways that you can get past that? So we're gonna work on this new set over here, and there's a few different routes that have some techniques that are involved in them that are going to help you and McKenna continue to get past those V3s and V4s. A lot of people think, oh, just get stronger, and that's, you know, a big part of climbing harder, but that's not the tip that we're gonna use today. Climbing harder, getting stronger, those are just things that are gonna come naturally. If you follow some different techniques that we're going to talk about today, you're just naturally gonna get stronger as you progress. A lot of climbers, they try the same route over and over again, and it might seem like they're not changing anything, but as a climber who tried a route about a dozen times just the other day and got it on the 12th try, there are some little nuances that you can change even if you're really tired and fatigued. So it's not just getting stronger, but it's a lot of other things.
All right, what do we got?
So the first idea is smearing. For those of you who don't know what smearing is, you can actually climb routes like this without using any of these footholds at all. Smearing is just smearing on the wall, and you can just go up like this. And there's actually quite a bit of friction that you can generate just off of the wall. Now, a lot of climbers think, oh, I just want to put my feet on a hold, but you can actually get past a lot of big sections of a route by friction stepping on a route. For instance, let's say I'm trying to get from this start hold here to this next hold, but the feet are kind of high. So I can actually just friction step up like that.
Nice.
And use the wall to help me. The wall, at least for mini climbing gyms and outdoors, it's textured, so you can get a lot out of it, actually. So this is another example of where we probably need to friction step. You might notice there's not a hold over on this left side, so we gotta start with the right foot here, left foot on the wall, kind of lunge over. And then that right foot, you might have noticed, just kind of dragging across. And I could grab here, but you might notice this dual text hold is super slick, so it's actually better just to grab the wall here and then match on top.
Nice.
This next route that we're doing is red holds. So a lot of us might see this and think, oh, let's do some heel hooks. That's actually another skill that beginner climbers should be focusing on to get past the V3s. But we're gonna show both heel hooks and friction steps or smearing on the wall to start out. The start hold is here, and you can just kind of smear on the wall. Boom, just like that. Especially when I was here in this position, the friction step was pretty crucial.
Yeah, there's like no feet here at all, so.
Yeah, it's kind of required. Because if you were just to do a hang, obviously you'd be on the ground.
Right.
This route can also be an example of some heel hooks. So being able to identify heel hooks and toe hooks is another big skill to get past the V2, V3 range. I can be here, grab a little toe here, grab a heel,
Nice.
transition. Just like that.
Cool.
A lot of these techniques are just about feet placements, body positionings. This green route right here is another example of some different heel hooks. I can already see that you have the start hold, and as you're cascading and transitioning to the left, you can grab a heel hook here so you don't barn door to the left, because if I'm here, my foot is here, throwing to this, my body wants to peel off the wall. But if I'm here, heel hook here, I can use that leverage to get up to the next hold.
Yeah, that seems like really helpful too, since the wall angle changes slightly there.
Heel hook wasn't necessary, but it definitely made it a lot easier for sure. This next route is the screen one. This is probably one of the best examples of grabbing a heel hook. A lot of people, instead of grabbing the toe here, will throw a heel here.
Yeah, for me on this route, Josh is able to move up to that right volume pretty easily. And I think that comes down to some amount of his strength. It feels a lot harder for me because there's like a very shouldery move there, and I don't have as much of that strength, like that raw strength to just bump from that pinch up to that and hold that. So for me, what helped me get past that move is the heel hook on the start hold, which I'll show you. And then I fell off a bit in there.
What are some things that you want to highlight for people trying to get into the V4, V5 range?
Hold on. I don't know. One of the things I'm thinking about is like hip placement and like knee placement. Like I think that I can think of a few different routes that I've worked on where the difference of me getting past a move or not was kind of how my hips were angled towards the wall. And after watching somebody else do that move successfully, seeing like, oh, their hips were turned in a different way, or something along those lines, helped me figure out how to get past it.
Do you think you can show us what you mean? Maybe on this purple route?
Okay. I love a sit start. Okay, this spot right here is very crucial to bring the hips in as close as possible. Make sure our feet are positioned correctly too, so we can bump like that. So that was a pretty nice, just gentle cruise across. It's really just this one spot. Switching from this really good hold over to this. And the beta that has worked for me has just been getting here, hips in as close as possible to the wall, and kind of let yourself fall into that one, because that's a decent hold.
The next technique is a simple lie back. It's really important when you're analyzing a route. You might notice this red route, for instance. This hold would be really hard to hold onto if you're going straight up and down with your body. But if your feet are to the right of this particular hold, you're able to hold onto it really well. Like just holding onto this, it's really hard to go straight up and down. But if my feet are over, I could do this one-handed. And that's what a lie back is. So I'll show you on this particular route. But notice how my hands are to the right. And I quickly want to get my feet on so I can lie back, be more comfortable. And again there, on that second to last move, my feet are pretty far to the left. So you can get into a better body position. Because like I said, just holding onto that hold as your body's straight up and down would be nearly impossible. So you gotta navigate where your feet are and your feet placement so that the angle that your hands are is in the most optimal position. Because obviously I can't hold onto this hold this way, but I can hold onto it this way, which means my center of gravity has to be over here and my feet have to be over here.
Nice. Okay, Joshua, now how about dynos?
Well, dynos are actually my least favorite thing, but something that I've been working on and developing. I've learned that there's something called a dead point. So a dynamic move is, let's say, for all intents and purposes, just a big throw where your hands are off. Let's just say for this particular instance, all 4 limbs are off of the wall at some point in time. So you want to find something called a dead point, where the top of your trajectory, the point where you stop going up and the point where you haven't started falling back down yet, that's the dead point. That's where you want the hold that you're launching for to be. For instance, let's say, I know this is not necessarily a dyno, but let's say I'm trying to dyno from here, from this hold to that hold. That hold, the top of that hold needs to be the dead point, the place where I've stopped going up and I haven't started coming back, falling down yet, because then that's going to require the least amount of energy to hold on to. Now I can grab here, and if I overshoot it, if I overshoot the hold, then I'll be falling back down and it'll open up my hands when I grab onto it. So I need that. I need that to be the dead point.
Nice dead point, bro.
Thanks.
Should we do it on an actual route set for a dyno?
Sure. This purple route starts here, and it's a dyno up to those 2 holds up there. So again, I want the top of my trajectory to be exactly those purple holds.
Nice job.
So that was a pretty traditional dyno. Just there was a point where all 4 limbs were not touching the holds anymore.
Good stuff. For me, I'm terrible at dynos personally. It's they just feel super unnatural still. It's a weird, all of it's like weird movement to me. The only thing that has really helped me in learning to get better at them is just trying ad nauseum, like over and over and over again. And it makes you feel crazy because you're doing the same jump or running the same exact way a ton of times, but like I think that's the only way that I've actually gotten better. It was just keep trying them. And that sounds silly, but it's true. Like eventually you start to like pick up through, you know, dozens and dozens and dozens of tries. What worked though that I felt like I was a little bit closer or I was a little further away that time. Like what did I change? And that's all I have to say on the dynos.
Those were some of the different techniques that I've utilized to get past the V3, even V2, V3, and V4 range to try to get into that intermediate climbing skill level. Same thing with the cameraman McKenna. Those are some techniques that she has utilized to get into the V5, V6, just sending a few of her V5, V6 projects using some of those techniques, like especially smearing, dead points, and liebacks, especially for her. One of the things that came a little bit more naturally to me is hip positioning and body movements, that came more naturally to me than to her. So that might be something that you need to focus on, as well as where do I need to put my center of gravity in regards to the wall. Does it need to be closer to the wall? Which hip needs to be closer to the wall, depending on where my hands are. Especially for lie backs, that's really important. A lot of setters want to force a specific positioning in a particular route. And so analyzing and determining where do I need my feet to be, where do I need my hip placement, where even do I need to keep my hands on this particular route are some really important questions to ask as you're breaking into intermediate climbing. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that it was helpful to you. What are some different things that have helped you get into the intermediate climbing skill level? What are some things that you are working on? And what are some things that you would tell some V1, V2, V3 climbers as they're approaching V4s and V5s? Thanks again, stay chalky.